Shalom, shalom. Everybody, come in. Come in with you. Like, comment, share. If you're new, subscribe. All the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's get all the good stuff. 1 second. You know what I'm saying? 1 second. I'm doing it myself, trading liking, you know, all that good stuff. As y'all see, you know what I'm saying, the title, you know what I mean? Is there freedom from all? Is there my bad, not freedom. Is there true independence for all? You know what I'm saying? That's the title today. Why is that the title today? Because what's happening tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is the 4th of July. You all know that's Independence Day, right? That's the day where America declared their independence and wrote it on the wrote the Constitution and all that. You know what I'm saying? Declared their independence to become an official country of their own instead of being a colony to the British, right? To the Red Coast and all that. Now here's the thing. Let me think about it, right? You gotta think about what was going on at that time. You know what I'm saying? Time of when so-called independence was being set, right? All right, let me bring this out. So, one of the things that's happening, right, during the time the independence was coming out, so we got to ask: is independence really for all? Now, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you should not be celebrating 4th of July because where is your independence? Where does it lie? It's a question you got to ask yourselves, man. Was it truly independence for all? The pursuit of happiness for all men? Right? That's what it says. You know what I'm saying? But you got to ask, like, if that's what's going on, what was happening to our people during that time? Right? It's a question that we got to ask ourselves, man. Because too often, you know what I'm saying, we are told to forget the past. That things have changed. It's a different time now. I got to ask you, how different is it? Uh, Is racism still not a thing? You know what I'm saying? Is people, mad at you for who you are not a thing? Questions that have to be asked. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring it up too. Like, you know what I'm saying? What was no, you also had abolitionists, right? People who wanted to abolish slavery. But during the time when it was written, right, our people were slaves during the time of the American Revolution. Let's get. I want to pull this up because this is what America's supposed to stand for. We see that today, America no longer stands for these things. Get it up. Hopefully, y'all can see that. I'm going to read that real quickly. All right. These were the things that were written during this time, right? This is the Declaration of Independence. You know what I'm saying? This is what we gotta really hone in on this, on what this says. And then ask ourselves, where was our people during the time where this was supposed to be written out? So it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. There's a lie right there. All men are created equal. What was happening during this time where all men were created equal? Let's really get on it. Let's really, like, these things have to be asked. Because you gotta make sure that we're clear about all this stuff, right? Because the American Revolution not only affected, our oppressors, but also affected, what I'm saying, the so-called blacks and Native Americans, right? So what was going down? So, like I said, it said all men were created equal, right? Let's see if that's true. I'll switch it over to this one. Sure, it's on there. All right. The Revolutionary War did not only determine the future of American colonies, but also shaped the future of Native peoples who lived in and around them. Native Americans were not passive observers in the conflict, while most Native communities tried to remain neutral in the fighting between the Crown and its colonists. So during the time of the American Revolution, our Native brothers and sisters were trying not to be involved. You know what I'm saying? And what was going on, because it didn't concern them. It didn't concern them between the British and the colonists. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? It's not their right that they were fighting for, not their taxation, whatever representation. What happened to that? By the way, Grabbing to no taxation without representation. America went on a whole taxing spree last 100 years or so. Last 100 years, they've been taxing everything. But I guess money is involved. Greed is involved. Our oppressor, he's somebody that can't stick to morality. It's only good for him in the meantime. If it affects him negatively, he has to get rid of it. But once he benefits from himself, then he's going to re-implement those same things on others. Right. As the war continued, many of them had to make difficult decisions about how and when to support one side or the other. Right. So the natives were made to choose a side. Remember, all this going while their land is being taken. Got these illegals coming into the country, right? These illegal Europeans, right, who are coming to this land. They're taking land from them that they helped them survive. They helped them learn the ways of the land, and they turned around and did them horribly. Then they want them to fight their wars. You want to take the land, then you want me to fight your war too. That don't even make sense. Even before the outbreak of war, the colonists were angered by the ways that the British government tried to manage the relationship between these colonists and Native Americans. The British were concerned by violence between white settlers and Native people on the frontiers and attempted to keep the two groups apart. So our oppressor is always mad whenever he cannot just commit violence whenever he so feels like it. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he feels like oh, I can't commit the violence I want to commit. Well, this is just wrong and this needs to change. And that right there is a shame, man. It's a shame. Our oppressor is so British. The British government say, "Hey, we don't like how y'all handling those Native people over there. You know what I'm saying? There's too much violence going on. We're gonna just y'all stay over there. They're gonna stay over here. Keep it like that." And the colonists that are over here, our oppressors was like, "What? What do you mean I can't exact violence against these people, man? They're savages. All right. That's why I gotta get rid of them. Matter of fact, I think that's what I want to just make sure I want to look that up real quick. Read that's what Indian means. I'm just gonna give it to me. All right, but anyway, can't really find the etymology of the word. They say it comes from in this in this river. Who knows, right? So either way, you know what I'm saying? Our oppressors were mad because they could not commit violence against the natives. Right. The proclamation of 1763 re- reserved the lands west of the Appalachian Mountains for Native Americans, which the colonists resented. So all this kind of leads up. All this is before the war, right? This is like a good 9 years, whatever, before the war, before the Declaration of Independence written, in 1776. So that's a good few years away. But this proclamation that was given down by the British government was that you know everything west of the Appalachians was supposed to be from Native Americans, and the colonists, our oppressors, did not like that. They ain't listen. Our our our, our oppressors think the rules apply to everybody besides themselves, right? That's how our oppressors are. If they came here seeking, so-called seeking a land where they can go without being persecuted for their religious beliefs, what do they do when they get to somewhere else? Persecute people for their religious beliefs. It is astounding the hypocritical nature of our oppressors. Like no, there's no bigger hypocrite in the world than our oppressors. So-called white men. Listen. That's why when you look to these people for help, look to these people for guidance, people to do right by you, you will always be let down. Every single time. Without fail. You'll be let down. Let's get some more of what's going on, what's happening, for our people. When the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence in July 1776, among the charges levied at King George III was that he had endeavored to prevent the population of these states. So what he's saying is that he tried to stop them from growing. That's what he wanted to do. Hey, since you told us we couldn't take that land, West Appalachians, you tried to stop us from growing. Why? Because the crown over in Britain did not want the colonists to take more than what they needed, what they needed, and they knew that they were taking this land by force. Because they were supposed to make these people seem like savages. Like these people didn't have a right, deserve a right to their own land, right? Another grievance of the Declaration of Independence. Remember, this is what they wrote. This is what they levied against. This is how they feel. It's all in the Independence, the Declaration of Independence. You know what I'm saying? Was that the king and his government had endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages. Because he tried to be, listen, the king tried to be cool with the natives, right? Realized that this is their land. Right, Constantly took what they had. Everything else belongs to the natives of that land, to the Indians. And they said, "Hey, you can't first trying to start fly growth. Now you're trying to be cool with them. These Indians are merciless. They're savages. These are things that our oppressor uses to make everybody besides themselves seem as if they're uncivilized. That oppressor is the most civilized people. Our oppressor's never been a civilized people. Never. Look throughout the whole world, right? Now each culture you find country has like some dark history in it. You know what I'm saying? But none, just none on the level of our oppressor though. You know what I mean? Listen, two world wars were started because of him, and the third is on the horizon. What's on the horizon? I can see it. I see the World War III right there. Land ho. About to make land soon for World War III. Why? Because our oppressors, they're not civilized people. They don't know how to be civil. Anytime you levy rules against them, listen, just look what's happening during COVID. You want to know why plague spread so quickly amongst white people? Just look at COVID. They have with COVID-19. It's a prime example of that. You know what I'm saying? They were mad because they had to wear masks in stores to protect other people from getting sick. Quick note, right? I used to do security. I was doing security during the time COVID was happening. Now, time I was doing security at it was an Apple store. I ain't working it no more. I was doing security at the Apple store, right, over in Tucson. And this is time where they started relaxing, the requirements of the mask. Then it became, at that time it was becoming, the masks were optional. If that business wanted to keep that rule going, they could. But there was no longer a requirement from the federal government to have to wear masks inside stores. That was up to that business to say if they wanted to require that or not. Well, at the time, Apple was requiring that you wear a mask inside their stores. And man, I tell you, I get more people who's angry and mad at the wear masks than our oppressors, so-called white man. Caucasians do not like when rules are levied against them. All right, they are a lawless people who don't like laws. They don't. When you put rules against them, it's like something in the mind. It's like to them you're encroaching on their freedoms. They're selfish. They don't think about everybody else. And so what happened was interesting with this story, right? Is that one day doing security at the Apple store, and this older Edomite couple come in. I let them know that, hey, you gotta wear a mask inside their store. We don't gotta wear no masks. They said we ain't gotta do that. I said no. Apple says you have to wear a mask inside their stores. You don't got none. Got some over here to the side for you. They were so mad. They said, "Well, we're going to shop." I was like, "Well, you can't. You're not gonna wear a mask. Step outside and have an agent come out there and help you out." They didn't like that. They went outside because they wanted to argue with me. I'm not arguing with them. I called the manager. They waited outside. They talked to the manager. They said they're not buying anything else from Apple because what they're doing is against their civil rights. It's against their rights as American citizens. It's the right of that business to say whether you have to wear a mask or not. And after I go to lunch, right, that Edomite woman sees me, and she says, "What you guys are doing in that store is wrong. Forcing people to wear a mask. How would you like it if you were forced to do something that you didn't want to do?" Like, man, that's my people every day for the last 400 or 500 years in this country. I said, like, you don't know slavery existed? Listen, they don't think about anybody else's pain besides themselves, man. They are very, very cold people. Take a look at this real quick. All right, but yeah, so you had natives that joined each side of the conflict. right? They just joined the crown. They just joined the revolution. Those who sought, saying to be those who sought to be, neutral because they feel like this ain't involve them. All right. So what happened after the Declaration of Independence? What happened after the whole Revolutionary War? While the Revolutionary War cost Britain the 13 colonies, it cost Native Americans much, much more. In the peace treaty, in addition to recognizing the independence of the United States, the British seceded to the new nation all British territories east of the Mississippi and south of Canada. This decision was made without any input from the Native Americans who lived on those lands, most of who had chosen to side with the British precisely because they wanted to block further white settlement. So once again, they just listen, our president just take what he does. No, there's no, what I'm saying, regard for the people that he's taking from. And when you fight back against our oppressors, they label you as as brutish, as savages, as uncivilized, because you won't just let them come take over. It's crazy, I know. That what was going on with our Native brothers and sisters, right? During this time, what was happening with the slaves? Remember, this is all supposed to be all men created equal, right? But what was equal about what happened with the natives? Nothing. Well, get a different one second. This is all on both of these from the site of uh, battlefields.org. You know what I'm saying? Get a lot of this information. One second. That is what I'm looking for. Yeah. So during the time, right, there was a lot of so during that time, man, there was a lot of slavery going on. There's talks about should it end, should it not end. The British, saying did not think it was a big deal, child of slavery, but it was. Let me share that. Let me keep reading this though. This Declaration of Independence. The all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Listen, as a so-called black Spanish American in this country, like I'm saying, how much of that is true? How much is it life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness really true? Because your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness get stomped out for what your oppressor wants, not what he needs, what he wants. You know what I'm saying? How much of that really real? You know what I'm saying? It's not. When you look to these people, you know what I'm saying, for look to these people to save you, to help, necessarily going to be disappointed. In fact, real quick, go to Lamentations real quick. Book of Lamentations. Book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes, our eyes yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. What you waiting for, man? You're waiting for this American dream. You're ready for this pursuit of happiness. You're ready for this independence to come. But it ain't for you. Independence ain't for all. You were a slave during this time. The land was being taken during this time. You know what I'm saying? Uh, these are not, you know, these are facts. These are not opinions. What we're going on. So we look for these people to save us. Listen, you can't look for people to save you that put you in danger to begin with. It's illogical. How can you think the man that put you in danger, that put you at the bottom, how could you expect him to want to do right by you? I'm just asking, how can you expect it? In my mind, I don't expect it. Expect him to stand under what he been standing at, to be on what he been on. You know what I'm saying? I know my younger years, I always thought, I always wondered when I was young, reading through that book of presidents, you know what I'm saying, being taught about Thanksgiving and how the natives helped them through their first winter and showed them how to farm on this land and everything. I always wondered why all the presidents were white men. So why didn't we have any Indian presidents at the time of my young age? You know what I'm saying? Whatever that's like. I think I was like first, second grade, third grade maybe. I kind of had those thoughts. Not even third grade, maybe fourth grade. Somewhere fourth, fifth grade around there, I always wondered, why every president was a white man. We had no Indian presidents. And they helped out, didn't they? What they had. At the time, at my young age, I didn't know about reservations. I didn't know that was a thing at that age. You know what I'm saying? America So they say history is written by the victors. Nothing more than true here. Because in school, you're not really taught about, it's glanced over about the stealing of this land. They call it manifest destiny. So oppressor does not want you to have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's not what he wants. And it's very evident, how this country is ran about exactly what our oppressor wants. He just wants you to bow down and let him do what he wants to do to you. Then you're a civilized person. Then you're a good slave. Right? We continue. Lamentations 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps. We cannot go in our streets. Jump down to verse 19. Our persecuted are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains and laid wait for us in the wilderness. Listen, that eagle is very, very telling. That's what this country's representation is, an eagle. Back then, it was the Romans had an eagle too. So did the Greeks. This eagle represents our oppressors and how quickly they come to destroy and take and pillage. Exactly what they did when they came to the United States, man. They pillaged the country, stole from it. We read a little bit more on this. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Wait a minute, not you black folks, not you native folks. When it's going down, not you Hispanics. Not for you, man. You weren't meant to be under this. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Let me tell you what, they did just that. Our president have done just that. They have altered and abolished things that are for people's safety and happiness. Right? Our oppressors are so greedy that they would institute things that not only harm us, as Blacks and Native Americans, but that will also harm their own people. Because he can't have enough. It's never too much. It's never enough. He needs more. What they say, you don't get to being a billionaire by being nice, by playing by the rules. You alter it that suits you, or that don't shoot you, whatever that don't suit you, you abolish it. It institute new government. That's what they've been doing. Every 4 years, there's a new government, right? Every 48 years. Listen, Trump administration is nothing like Biden's administration. Biden's administration was nothing like Trump's previous administration. Trump's administration was nothing like Barack Obama's administration. Listen, this is we are in quite the time, man. Quite the time. This is what they did. They altered what they didn't like. They abolished what they didn't want. As well. What will stop them from being greedy dogs. Right. Greedy beasts is what our oppressors is. Listen, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form. Listen, the rich and the powerful run America. Right? America is a business. That's how it's ran, like most countries are. And the rich want to stay rich. They've altered and abolished and laid new foundations on the principles and organizing powers for their safety and happiness. That's what they did. They followed that. They followed that the Declaration of Independence to a T. Probably not the way the oppressors then wrote it, but here we are now. Almost 300 years later. The Declaration of Independence was written in 1776. People of African descent made up approximately 1/5 of the population of the new United States of America. The vast majority of them were enslaved, many by revolutionaries. Other revolutionaries, while not holding people as property themselves, profited indirectly from the system. How could the supporters of a resistance movement and then revolution against Great Britain support the words of the Declaration and still justify or even simply allow the practice of slavery? This is from the art museum, the Museum of American. This is let me share it real quick. Just bring it up. All right, so. We'll see right here, the Museum of American Revolution. That's where this is coming from. All right. Listen, this is for us here in America, man. There is no freedom. You know what I'm saying? Don't go out there for fireworks and celebrating a time where you were not free, a time where your land was being stolen. I'm saying, go read something. You know the saying that they say you want to hire something from a black man, put it in the book. This man, it's time to start opening books. Start finding out some truth right here. Stop celebrating the holiday that your oppressor tells you to celebrate. Listen, this is not your day of freedom. It's not. So I continue to celebrate it. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Those that oppress you, don't choose any of his ways, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not for you. It's not meant for you. You understand? Our precious ways is not the ways of the Most High. Look at the Diddy trial, right? People are excited that Diddy be charged after everything that he's accused of. People have said that what happened. We had grown men out there, grown men and women, especially you grown men out there in celebration for Diddy being acquitted of certain crimes. He wasn't acquitted of all of them, mind you. Out there celebrating by putting baby oil on themselves. This is something that you pick up from the oppressor. You don't want freedom for your people. You want the freedom to be heathens, to be nasty. You know what I'm saying? To be foul. You want to be foul. That's what you want to be. You want to be depraved. Diddy's acquittal is not something to celebrate. I knew something was wrong with Diddy when I watched Making the Band back in the day. When that other show he had, we were trying to find him a new assistant. There's a reason why Diddy don't like MTV to replay, to put back out those episodes of Making the Band. If you watched it back then, you can probably find some clips on YouTube if you're lucky. So there's somewhere out there. There's a reason why Diddy don't allow MTV to do that, because Diddy was such a monster in that show. I remember watching that show. I was like, how can anybody ever want to work for this man? This man said that if you in the shower, taking a shower, you better jump out the shower, answer that call, and go do exactly what he wants when he needs it at the moment. It's like you don't stick with your band, you on vacation, and ends then go do what that man wants. Your whole life revolves around Diddy. The way he would talk to people, he would talk to them on Making the Band. I knew then that man was foul because how he treated them people then on the show. You know what I'm saying? So right on the walls back then. You know, so if you saw that show, you seen that show. If you need to listen, Dave Chappelle's skit for Making the Band, it's not even far off from the truth. It's really on it. Just a little bit more exaggerated than what it really is, but you know what I'm saying? That's how it is. But you choose to be like the oppressor when you choose to be like Diddy. Choose to celebrate Diddy. You choose to be like the oppressor when you want to hide the evils of our community. You want to hide SAers and child abusers. You want to blame the victims, but not blame the abuser. You want to hide the abuser, but you don't want to help the victim. Listen, man, there's a time coming. Change is coming. All right. Just like I said, World War III is here, right there on the horizon. I see it over yonder. You know what I'm saying? Right over there. It's right there. Time for you to decide where you're gonna be at, man. Listen, this independence, this freedom that you think that you have is false. All right. Moses once said to the people, you know, I set before thee life and death. Listen, this Bible, right? These laws, statutes, commandments, these records, it's life. That's what it is. This is life. If you choose it. The so-called Black Hispanic Native American, this is for you. This will give you real life. You can choose death. Do not choose death. Anyway, we'll end it right there. Once again, you know what I'm saying? I'm Officer Fit to resign out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we are located at 28th Street in Cactus, 20th Drive in Cactus, all right across the street from the Quick Trip. Yeah, man, if you Black Hispanic Native American get in class, you know what I'm saying? Classes Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sabbath service from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join us out here. If you can't make it physically, it's always online, as you see right now. So there really is no excuse why you can't watch, why you can't join. There's no excuses. All right. So with that, shalom. See y'all next time.